Welcome back to a very different episode of Only Pools Podcast.
You down with OPP? Yeah, you know me. You down with OPP? Yeah, you know me. You down with OPP? Yeah, you know me. Who's down with OPP? Every last homie. You ever go swimming? Man, it's so much fun. Now we got a podcast joining everyone. Talking about pools, the stories we share. From backyard splashing to Olympic fair. We got chlorine, pH, and filter tips. Keep your pool fresh, avoiding no slips. With hosts so cool and guests so neat. We're dropping pool knowledge that it can't be beat. You down with OPP? Only Pools Podcast. You down with OPP? Only Pools Podcast. You down with OPP? Only Pools Podcast. Who's down with OPP? Every last homie. Only Pools Podcast. Let's go.
As you can see, it's a little different in here today. So I'd like to take you on a little bit of a journey on how we make the podcast, what kind of equipment we use, and I also forgot a light, but let's take a little tour of this space and how we get everything started. So it does feel a little bit better to be on this side. I don't want to mess up the continuity of our show. However, if we take a look around the room, we do have a conveniently placed sign on our door that lets people know when it's closed and when that sign's flipped that we are recording. That way, nobody tries to rush in here or show us a TikTok of the day. But with, I guess, the elephant in the room, the big old green screen behind me, that's how we kind of change our background and keep it a little fresh for anybody who watches. Again, if you only watch this or listen to this through Spotify or Amazon Podcasts or Google Podcasts, if you click over to YouTube and you can click on our channel, the description will have all the different links to go to whichever platform you'd like. But on our YouTube channel, when you watch the podcast, we have different backgrounds, and I usually switch it up every 2 episodes just to keep it a little fresh. And in front of the green screen, we have these awesome little pool deck chairs, which are pretty nice. I mean, it's definitely over the top for just a podcast, but hey, that's how you set yourself apart, make it a little more, I guess, continuity entails everything that we have going on here. But this is kind of the cool spot. When we have these pool chairs out here, it kind of shows that this is about pools. What we're talking about has to do with pools. And it kind of sets the scene as well as changing the background. But from the background and from the chairs, we have, I guess, a total of 6 lights, 2 overhead, which aren't as bright as we'd like them to be. We're definitely going to upgrade those in the upcoming months. And then we have 2 little key lights, which aren't very powerful. They're just USB powered, and this is more or less to get rid of any shadows on the side. We also have 1 little ring light, which kind of just is focused on the chairs themselves, so there's no green screen bleed. And again, none of these lights are really that powerful for the space we have, so we try and do it the best we can. I have a little bit of lighting experience and I experiment every now and then, so if you ever watch any of the episodes, sometimes you'll see a lot of green screen bleed, and I'm sorry for that, so I adjust the lights and move on from there. But our main one, I believe, is a high wattage bulb, and we're looking to get a few more of them just to see if that helps with any of the green screen bleed over. We definitely need a light behind us as well as overhead lights to be a little bit stronger, but once we get those dialed in, the green screen kind of becomes easy to do and the podcast will change from there. So eventually we will get the lights upgraded, that way the green screen behind me is kind of easier to deal with. But I just wanted to give you guys kind of a check-in and show you around the office a little bit. There was a desk there. We're in the process of rearranging some desks and upgrading chairs and everything. So if this was a month ago, we would have had a desk right there. And this is kind of where I normally do all my stuff. But with all these lights and everything else, we're kind of getting cramped. So my actual office is now in a different spot, but we're slowly but surely upgrading everything. And we have everything just plugged into wall outlets, which we will eventually change into sort of surge protectors and power strips. That way, if anything does happen, we're not going to ruin all of our lights. But thanks for coming along on this quick little tour. We just wanted to give you guys a little, I guess, behind the scenes tour of how we get this show going. And again, thank you for all the support. We've been hitting around 12 to 15,000 views per video, which has been incredible. So please, if you only listen to Spotify, check out our YouTube channel. The link will be in the show notes, and you'll be able to click on over to our channel, see other videos. We're trying to just put out as much information and help with your pool as we possibly can. And thank you for showing your support. Like, share, subscribe, and just like the boss always says, just keep swimming.
You down with OPP? Yeah, you know me. You down with OPP? Yeah, you know me. You down with OPP? Yeah, you know me. Who's down with OPP? Every last homie. You ever go swimming? Man, it's so much fun. Now we got a podcast joining everyone, talking about pools, the stories we share, from backyard splashing to Olympic fair. We got chlorine, pH, and filter tips. Keep your pool fresh, avoiding no slips. With hosts so cool and guests so neat. We're dropping pool knowledge that it can't be beat. You down with OPP? Only Pools Podcast. You down with OPP? Only Pools Podcast. You down with OPP? Only Pools Podcast. Who's down with OPP? Every last homie. Dive into discussions, no topics too small. From kiddie pools to water parks, we cover it all. We got pool parties and cannonballs too. If it's about water, we talking to you. Interviews with experts and stories to share. From poolside barbecues to water care. We got tips and tricks to keep your pool right. Listen in the morning or at the late night. You down with OPP? Only Pools Podcast. You down with OPP? Only Pools Podcast. You down with OPP? Only Pools Podcast. Who's down with OPP? Every last homie. O is for only, the best place to be. P is for pools, come dive in with me. P is for podcast, we talking weekly. Only Pools Podcast, the one and only. Grab your goggles and your floaties too. Tune in to our show, we got stuff for you. Poolside chats to aquatic news. Only Pools Podcast, you can't refuse. We teach you how to clean, how to keep it clear. The best pool stories that you'll ever hear. From summer fun to maintenance prep. Only Pools Podcast, we're your best bet. You down with OPP? Only Pools Podcast. You down with OPP? Only Pools Podcast. You down with OPP? Only Pools Podcast. Who's down with OPP? Every last homie. You down with OPP? Yeah, you know me. You down with OPP? Yeah, you know me. You down with OPP? Yeah, you know me. Who's down with OPP? Every last homie. Only Pools Podcast. Let's go.